What is going on, guys? Welcome to episode 1 in the 555 series. So this episode is going to be half adventure, half training. It's a little bit all over the place. I'm not the best at vlogging, I'm not going to lie, but I promise you I'll get better as I get more reps in, so bear with me here. But this episode I think is pretty fun. So over the weekend, we stayed with our friends Eric Hinman and Sarah Cohen at their home in Moab, Utah. We trained with them the whole weekend, and Eric is an absolute freak of a cardiovascular athlete, so it was really fun getting to train with him, pick his brain, and get some tips for tackling this 555 challenge. The first day we did Cindy, which I did not record because I was in pain the whole time. We did some middle work of the workout, so we did some stuff right before this core circuit, and we finished with this 4-move core circuit, which was an absolute burner. And it's always funny working out with Eric because I know when he says the workout's not that bad, I know I'm going to be in a lot of pain, and as usual, I was in pain in like the first 5 minutes of this workout. So finished off with this core circuit, hit some arms, taught Eric this lean away supported cable bicep curl, which he loved, and then we went into a 3-mile trail run, which was beautiful. Eric, where are we?
We are at Mill Creek, the secret location of Mill Creek. Can't really tell you exactly where on Mill Creek we are.
Perfect.
But we're gonna go on a little 3.5, 4-mile trail run, and then we're gonna jump in what's called the Cowboy Jacuzzis.
Sick. Unreal. Check this out. Building up that engine, baby. Building up that engine. Whew. Oh my God. Unreal. We're talking about my weight now versus my weight back in my track days when I was able to run like a 5-minute mile. So put on 33-ish pounds since those days, and I maintain that weight. So when I was running that, I was like 145, 150. Now I'm sitting around like 183-ish. But we'll see how she goes.
All right, so all things equal, like not factoring in that you're probably stronger than you were in high school when you were running, every pound equates to 2 seconds per mile slower that you will run faster or slower. So if you are 25 pounds heavier, that means you're going to be running 50 seconds slower per mile. So like look at Ryan Hall now, weighing 200 pounds. He was 135 when he was running professionally and training for marathons, and that extra 30-40 pounds is going to be a couple minutes per mile slower just based on body weight. Look at those guys, like they're pretty fucking jacked. So some of the, and 100 obviously is like more muscle. You're not as concerned about weight, you're more concerned about lots of muscle. So somewhere along that way, 800 mile is where weight really starts making a big difference.
Yeah. Like there's a 400 even right now. I can jet that pretty fast. So I'm like, mentally, I'm like, okay, how can
400 is more about strength than it is about body weight.
So I'm like, as we build up my base, I'm like trying to get myself to think more and more. I'm like, okay, I got to connect 4 of these. How can I do this in a means that's like, dude, I feel so goddamn strong when I run these days. Yeah. Like I can just feel the fucking pop. So if I could just get into a better base of cardiovascular fitness, I'm really curious to see what I can do.
Yep.
Wow. It's cool that people respect them and they don't fuck them up. So after our trail run, we went on some Can-Am off-roading. These things are absolutely insane. I've never been in a Can-Am, but like the way you can crawl rocks is just absolutely mind-blowing. And if you want to skip through this section, or if you get motion sickness, I will not be offended because this section is pretty bouncy. We were on Fins and Things, which is a famous off-road track / course that people will take their off-road vehicles on, and it was an absolute blast. Like, my Tacoma pales in comparison to what this Can-Am can do when it comes to tackling rocks. But hope you guys enjoy the next minute or so. I wanted to just highlight kind of the trail and everything. I thought it was really cool. It was an interesting experience driving through this rocky/desert terrain, but sit back and enjoy, and I will see you guys in 30 to 45-ish seconds. All right, so we're gonna be doing contrast between the hot tub, the ice barrel. I absolutely loathe that thing. Don't want anything to do with that. It's gonna be absolutely miserable. But today we had a beefier workout. Then we did a 3-mile trail run. We did some swimming down in this really sweet spot in Moab. And my calf has been giving me a little bit of trouble. And you're gonna laugh when you hear this because it's not even due to running. I was golfing last weekend with my dad and my uncle. It was on the last Friday afternoon. And I jumped on the back of my uncle's golf cart like a little kid because he was like going over to where my ball was because his ball was over there. I was riding my dad, and I jumped off and like hit the curb with my ankle, and I thought I had broke my ankle, but in reality I think I just like overextended a little bit because my calf instantly was like boom. But I could still run and train on it, so I think it's just a minor strain, but it's been really great. Gets back into running, strains his calf on the golf course. Like, pain skill.
It's like the ice is hugging me right now.
What the fuck is this? Control your breathing. Zen. This sucks. Fuck.
Nice. Easy. It's like you're in normal temperature.
Not a normal temperature.
It's like you're in the Sahara.
So my calf feels amazing.
Wow, it changed that quick.
It's placebo, but I'm telling myself that so I don't get out of this. I hope you're enjoying this, YouTube, because this is miserable.
Can we see the nipples?
Oh my god, my legs hurt. How long? How long, Eric? How
He's
long?
been in it for like 20 seconds.
How long?
5 minutes.
5 minutes, dude.
The first minute and a half,
Okay, at least make a minute and a half. Down.
If you dump
Down.
it out, it makes everything else feel
Fuck
better.
that shit. Fuck that shit. Bro,
Jake, stay in. Bend, don't break.
I can't feel my feet.
You're gonna go. You probably need to like get used to it.
I can't feel my legs.
Do you want to go run into the tub?
No, I'm gonna go back in. I just need a second. All right, this is the
Tough guy.
tough guy. Ain't nothing tough on this body. My calf got strained getting out of a golf cart.
Do you want to tell us a story while you distract yourself?
Yeah, ask me a question.
Who's your favorite dog?
What? Out of
Now
our
you're Kona.
out of our two?
They're both falling off a cliff. You can only pick one.
Are they gonna watch this? Are they gonna see my
they're
answer?
both watching.
I have to say Maui. Maui, because I dreamt of getting an Aussie when I was young, and he was like my perfect dog.
Oh my god,
one
you're
blue
not
eye,
supposed
one
to
brown
actually answer that. That's like answering which kid you like better.
All right, so I am a huge coffee person, and I've never actually got to make my own espresso, so it's really cool being able to do that. But I was warned that I would struggle with the 20 pounds of pressure with the actual beans and the grounding, and I packed this way too tight. So time to repack and go for round 2. For our final day in Moab, we actually skipped out on our morning run and instead went for a hike, which you just saw clips of, and then we attacked an upper body session at the gym. So in a future episode, I plan to talk about the overall programming that I am following to tackle this feat, because with my upper body training, I've actually dropped some of my overall volume because I'm not trying to add a ton of upper body mass at the moment or sink a ton of time focusing on the skill components of some of the upper body movements if they don't really feed into deadlifting, squatting, and running. So if you have made it this far in this video, I really do appreciate you. This video has broken so many times in the rendering process, and it's now like 4 a.m. and I'm like absolutely, like, my eyes are just shut and I'm so tired, but we had to get it in, and I really do appreciate you for making it this long. Stick around until the very end because Eric shares a lot of fantastic tips for runners and lifters getting back into running. He is a weathered Ironman triathlon, like, running pro, so stick around. He has some great insights there, and as always, thank you for watching, and thank you to Eric and Sarah for having us out. I really do appreciate all of you for rocking with me.
All right, so 3 best tips for somebody getting back into the running game.
So the first tip I always tell people is buy a heart rate monitor. Get a watch that has the wrist-based heart rate built in, or get a chest strap and monitor your heart rate. My story is I used to compete in Ironman triathlon, and I was doing all of my runs fast. And when you're training specifically for like endurance running, so anything over like 10 miles, it's really key to build durability. And to build durability, you want to be running at an aerobic heart rate. So for me, an aerobic heart rate is around 130 to 140 beats per minute. An easy way to find it is the 180 formula. Subtract your age from 180, and you'll figure out approximately what your aerobic heart rate is. You can look it up, the Maffetone method, if you want more science behind it. But buy a heart rate monitor that by far will help slow you down so you can build more miles and you can build that run durability. Second tip would be vary it. Like, running can get kind of boring, so I like to do trail running. I like to combine hiking with running. You know, I'll do some running on the road, but if you're just like slogging away on a treadmill, you're gonna get burned out. It just becomes no fun. So, you know, vary your terrain, vary the places you're running, you know, maybe even do like some point-to-point runs, but just do something so that your mind doesn't get into a bored state with the running. Third, so if you're really training for a run event, I would say prioritize running before other things, and specifically as you get closer to that event. So I like doing a lot of strength training, I like CrossFit, I like lifting, and when I was competing in Ironman, I would continue the strength training and stuff up until about 6 weeks before a race, and then I would back way off on the strength training and really prioritize the runs. So if you're doing any speed workouts or any really long runs in excess of like 10 miles, make sure you prioritize that before doing the strength training so you can get the most bang for buck from the run.
Awesome. And then on point number 1, if I'm looking into like a basic heart rate monitor or strap, what would you recommend starting to look at, like when it comes to like price range and options that you've tried that aren't going to totally wreck somebody's bank?
Yeah, so I have a Garmin Fenix 5 Plus. Garmin makes great products. They make, I think, the 235. They may have changed their model names, but look up Forerunner. They make some great running watches that have the heart rate built right into it. I know you can buy like a Garmin heart rate monitor that goes around your chest, and you can sync it with like Strava or Map My Run, all those different apps out there via Bluetooth. So look for either a Bluetooth heart rate monitor that you can sync with your phone and just use your phone, or Garmin, Polar, Chorus. All of them make great watches, and pretty much all of them have that wrist-based heart rate built into them now.
Awesome. And then you know myself, how it comes to my forms of training. As I get into more hybrid style work, do you have any tips for things that I should avoid? Whether it's like just being conscious of my stride and not going into any form of overuse situations. Do you have any tips for myself, who you've seen work out, you've seen how I move, how I train, etc., as I dive deeper into this feat?
Yeah, so I think for you specifically, the biggest thing is going to be separating your speed work from your longer duration runs. So, you know, anything you're doing that's 3+ miles, like you really want to slow down and be in that aerobic heart rate zone to build durability, instead of trying to run those at a high heart rate. And then when you're doing the speed work, you want to be doing them, you know, in an anaerobic zone, like 400s at your goal mile pace, 800s at your goal mile pace, and then building in enough rest so that you can repeat those sets at the same intervals. So yeah, it's just understanding, you know, the specific training and making sure that you go slow enough on the longer runs and fast enough with enough rest on the fast runs, shorter intervals.
Do you think we're going to be able to get this done? Do you think?
I definitely think you're going to be able to do it. Yeah, it's a hell of a feat, but I mean, you have, I think, the hardest parts down, which are, you know, being able to deadlift over 5 and being pretty close to a 500-pound back squat. Strength takes a hell of a lot longer to build up than an engine to run a fast mile. Don't get me wrong, running a sub 5 mile and also having the mass to be able to move that kind of weight is very, very difficult, but, you know, you've already accomplished at a fairly low body weight the ability to lift those two really heavy. So yeah, I think with, you know, 6 to 8 months of, you know, run specific training, you're gonna be able to run the sub 5 too.
I appreciate that bit
Get
of
it,
confidence.
baby.
And then Eric, where can we find you? Where can people connect, etc.?
Yeah, Instagram is the best way to find me. It's my name, Eric Hinman, EricHinman, at Eric Hinman on Instagram.